What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this podversation. Listen, guys, we have to have a podversation about one of many people's favorite actresses, Gabrielle Union. And I'm saying that to be sarcastic because I've heard so many people that are like, they just really don't care for her. They definitely don't care for her acting. They say she always plays the same role. And even if it's like a different role per se, she is the same person. But anyway, listen, guys, not that it even matters when it comes to the what they call break baby that Dwyane Wade had with someone else while he was dating Gabrielle Union. And she was the main one that came out trying to save face to say, oh, well, we were on a break. Nobody really believed that. But listen, guys, Dwyane Wade has come out and confirmed that that ain't been no break baby. Okay. And so he was interviewed by Shannon Sharp on his podcast. And I'm just going to go ahead and play this clip, guys.
There was some infidelity in the relationship, or there's something that transpired. Was it harder for you to sit down and have a conversation and to tell her that something had happened outside the relationship, or losing the finals?
Way harder to have a conversation with my now wife.
Right.
Who wasn't at the time, but my now wife about it. Like, you try to think of everything possible.
Because you're thinking about what you're going to say, and you're also thinking about how she's going to react.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking about it all.
Right.
It's all scary. One, the whole situation is scary enough.
Right.
You're a public figure. That's scary.
Right. Yeah.
But you've heard, you know that this is going to hurt
someone.
You
know it's going to hurt.
That you've been building a relationship with and a life with.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And no matter what people say on the outside or what people want to think, this and that, like, ultimately, like, you got to sit with you and you got to sit with this person if this is who you're going to be with.
Right.
And I had to sit with my wife about this. Well, my now wife about this, and have this conversation.
You told her before it became public.
Yeah. I did.
Because I don't know, D-Wade, if she'd have stuck with you, that thing become public and you ain't have the conversation with her.
Man, listen, let me tell you, I couldn't have gotten through that moment without her sticking with me. You know what I mean? Like, it was we were in the playoffs, I think, even in going into the finals, that whatever year that was. Man, that was a rough time for me, bro.
So you got a lot on your mind.
You got a lot on your mind. You're keeping something from people you love.
Right.
And it's heavy. At night, when it get quiet,
yeah,
it's just you and your thoughts.
Yeah.
Them thoughts is loud. And it gets loud up here in his mind. And so it came to a point where, way before, and I tried to pussyfoot around it. I tried to break up with her and, hey, things has been bad lately. Hey, we've been having a little distance in our relationship anyway. Like, I tried all that.
Right.
She kept showing up. And so it hasn't been perfect. It will never be perfect. But that was 9 years ago.
Right.
And we go to therapy.
Right.
We've been to therapy.
Right.
We've had shouts about it. We've had regular conversations about it. And so it's been something that is going to continue to be something that I have to work at and work on. It doesn't go away because years come or because I say, I'm sorry, or whatever it is. And so...
Is that the hardest part of it, D-Wade? To know that you've done this and it's probably always going to be a source of contention. It's always going to be something that could possibly be brought up. It might be 10 years from now. It might be 15. You guys might be 75 years old.
Yeah.
And you still might have to...
Well, when it comes to my wife and I, yeah, that's hard. It's always there.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to my son,
mm-hmm.
that's hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to always be there.
Right.
He's done nothing.
Right.
It's a stain that's on him for no reason.
Right.
Right. And I think about that more than like, we're adults.
Right.
And we're going to get through it.
Right.
Or we ain't going to get through it.
Right.
Right. We're adults in this space.
Right.
This is a young kid.
Right.
Who has already got a negative impact next to his name.
Right.
And he hasn't even had a chance to accomplish
right.
it. And he already got a negative next to his name because of how he was brought into this world.
Right.
And I think about that. I think about my the son that bears my name.
Right.
And I think about my wife. Like, of course, I think about all my kids. I think about it all. But ultimately, what I do know is, at the end of the day, this is my family. This is my story.
Yep.
We gonna get through this. How are we gonna get through it? But we gonna get through it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so, I think, time, distance, space, it doesn't help it. But it makes it allows you to see things differently when you have time away from it. Mm-hmm. And so my wife and I, 9 years later, are in a different space where we're able to have different conversations about that moment, about the future of my son, about how we want to incorporate, how we want to be. And that's just one aspect of this long journey, right? But ultimately, for me, it's all about making her understand that I'm continuing to grow. I'm continuing to, to work on myself. Not understand, but show her, right? And she's showing me. Right. This goes both ways, but in this instance, but also too at the same time, love my kids. Right. This is my story. Right. And I didn't ask for it to all be this way. Right. I don't know what's coming in the future, but right now, this is all mine. And so, as good as it looks, or as bad as it seems, it's mine. Right. And I'm thankful to even have the good in my life. And I'm also thankful to have the things that's a little uncomfortable to talk about and deal with and experience. Because that makes you live a full life. Right. And so that's all I'm trying to do. Just trying to figure out a way to live a full life together.
All right, guys. So you heard that. Listen, nobody's shocked by that, because if it were this quote unquote break baby, he would have come out and said, well, I didn't cheat on her. There was no infidelity. We had broken up. I was with somebody else. Granted, it wasn't for a very long time, and she wound up getting pregnant, because all it takes is one hit and the one sperm that hits that egg, and that's it. So you don't have to be in a long-term committed relationship to get someone pregnant, and we know that. And a nigga can get, this thing about these guys that like to talk about women that have multiple children. Unless you have multiple births, you can only have, one child at a time. You might be able to have twins, triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, sextuplets, septuplets, or even be the octomom and have 8. You know what I mean? But that is rare. We know this. But you can only get pregnant once every 9 months. A dude can get 9 people pregnant in one day. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's not about that. My point of this is the fact that question out the gate, he says there was infidelity. How did you approach it with her to tell her about that you have another baby on the way, or had the baby? Because I don't know if he told her before she had the baby or after. I can't remember all of that, because like they said, it was 8 years ago, almost 9. But if there was no infidelity, why didn't he come back and, say, oh, well, actually, no, I know that was a rumor, but she made it clear, because she was the one that was saying break baby. I never heard him say that. So he has confirmed that he got someone pregnant because he cheated on her. He did not break up with her. And I believe more people would not even really care about the situation if she wasn't the one to come out and say, well, we were on a break. Because for her, it's about the image. And she really didn't do anything wrong. She wouldn't be the first female to be with a guy that cheated on her. And she also wouldn't be the first female to be with a guy that cheated on her and wound up getting someone pregnant. Because when any guy cheats, there always is that possibility that there could be a baby happening. So sometimes when people say, well, I can forgive the cheating, but if they get that person pregnant, then I can't stay, because I'm not saying either one is right or wrong, but I'm just saying when people say that, it's like, well, there was always the possibility that he could have gotten that person pregnant, because all it takes is one hit. Really, that's all it takes. One hit, one sperm hitting that egg, they're on that time of fertility, and boom, a pregnancy happens. So there's always that possibility, because the way I feel about it is when anyone cheats, they are not being safe, because you're already being dishonest. This is my personal opinion. I'm not saying that everyone that cheats doesn't use a condom or use protection. But if you're being deceitful, Why would you be safe? And in all honesty, there really is no real safe sex. You could take precautions to try to prevent pregnancy, to try to prevent an STD, but the only 100% way of not getting someone pregnant or not getting an STD is to not do the do. So in my personal opinion, the dudes that are out here cheating, I believe they're raw dogging as well. I don't believe they're out here using condoms. I mean, let's just be honest about that. So yeah, when some people say, well, I might be able to forgive the cheating, but if they have a baby, then I'm done. Well, there was the possibility that the person could have gotten, pregnant, and maybe they did get pregnant and they didn't keep the pregnancy. There's just so many factors involved with that. But my point of this is the fact that she was the one that was out here saying we were on a break and he, wound up getting someone else pregnant. She could have just said no comment when asked about it all of the years, not even just back then, but even now, if she's asked about it or whatever, she could just stay mute on the situation, because I rarely, when it comes to the family and the children, I don't think I really ever see that other child in any pictures with them. If you have, you can let me know in the comment section, but I don't. It's usually, honestly, the one that we see the most is the one that they have, in my personal opinion, exploited for more money. To, even if the child says, I feel like a woman, to do all of this in the public, I just felt was exploitation. And I do agree with the birth mom. And I know that this isn't about her, but I'm just basically saying, I don't ever really see that other child. And if you see the children, you're usually going to see Zion, that goes by Zaya now, or Zaya, however it's pronounced, and the little girl that they had via a surrogate, because she could not conceive, or she couldn't give birth. I don't know if she just kept having miscarriages. But anyway, she was the one that was out here saying it was a break baby. And it's not funny, but I'm just saying, he does his interview and in one full swoop, he shut that down to say, yeah, that wasn't true. I cheated on her. Because when Shannon Sharp asked him about the infidelity, he could have responded to say, no, we actually weren't together during that time. Even if it was a lie, he could have tried to keep the lie up if he respected her lie, but it doesn't sound like he did. And maybe he's just like, at this point in time, it's been those many years and we've had other obstacles to battle. So that's like the least of my concerns right now. So yeah, I cheated. It was hard for me to tell her about it, but I told her about it. We got through it. But something that was said that really caught my ear when he was talking about how distance and time helps. I believe the distance that he's talking about is keeping that child away from them for the most part. If I'm going to spend time with that child, it will be me, but not bringing her around. And I'm not even here to say that I don't understand that, because that is something that, not I want to say that's something. The situation is something, but the child is someone. So yeah, that something and someone is something that could be really hard for her to be around, because it's always a reminder. So I can't say I don't understand it. I do. But he's just pretty much confirming and letting us know, yeah, this child that did nothing wrong will always have this stain on him because of how he was brought into the world. But distance and time is something that helps. So I keep my son away from her. And, and as time goes by, it kind of helps. But time doesn't get rid of the situation. It's just other things that happen in life that just kind of makes it seem a little bit smaller, but it doesn't absolve the situation. But again, if they weren't together and it just happened to be, then why is he saying that, yeah, I was not faithful and I wound up bringing another child into the world and it was hard for me to tell her about it, So yeah, in my personal opinion, I do believe that she was the one that was putting that out there to save her image, because a lot of these people, they're all about that image, right? But in actuality, she didn't do anything wrong. I feel like more people would have respected her if one, she just was like, no comment, I'm not even talking about it. Or just saying, look, he wasn't perfect. I'm not happy about it, but this is the life that we have right now. And we're just choosing to move forward with the situation. I mean, how can you argue that? But to just continue to come out here and say, oh, it's a break, baby, we're on a break. People are like, okay, girl, all right, whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, because it's like, did you really intend to come out here and make your wife look like a liar to the general public? So I'm wondering what the conversation is like now that this is out, that this interview is out. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. But yeah, I thought that was just a little bit funny that, yeah, he just came out and confirmed that she lied. Anyway, thank you guys for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.